Hi, my horse has had a little time off, and so I'm going to do some strapping. This is a technique that I think has gone by the wayside. I learned it when I was a kid, 45 years ago, maybe longer, and it's a great way to help keep condition to your horse when they're locked up in the stall. So these are strapping pads. I bought them in England. They're probably 30 years old at this point. They're just filled with wool, and they're made out of leather with a nice little strap on the back. I like these because when I really have a horse that is used to being strapped and they're getting a lot of work with it, my hands will get tired. You can strap with just your hands and you just cup your hand a little bit, because what you're actually going to be doing is hitting the horse so that their muscle flexes, so it contracts. And you can see if you do that a lot, your hand will get tired. So I'm going to show you with my strapping pads. So we want to always make sure and avoid the horse's bones. So those of you not familiar, horses don't have a collarbone. Their neck actually comes in quite low under the shoulders. So from the poll, the spine comes pretty low in here. So we're kind of aiming like crest area, middle of the neck. The other area we're going to do is the meat of the muscle right here above the forearm in the shoulder. We want to try and avoid the point of the shoulder where this joint is, and we want to use this muscle. We won't do anything in the middle of the horse. You're too close to the ribs, the end of the ribs, no protection here. We're going to do the top of the hindquarters, and we're going to do the hamstrings. You can also do in here. That'll help the stifle really flex. This horse has great stifles, so I don't actually work this area too much on him. I do a little more at the top of the croup, and then his hamstrings tend to get just a little bit tight, and I find that if I'm a little lighter on the hamstring, I can stretch it out. Okay, so a lot of you don't even know what this looks like, so we'll just get to it. So when we strap, our first touch is a stroke to let the horse know we're here and it's coming, and then the second one is a tap. And these can get harder and harder. So it's stroke, smack, stroke, smack, stroke, smack. And we're just looking to see that that muscle flexes, and the horse should look like they're pretty comfortable with it. And we just move through the areas, and I usually go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then I fake them out on the last one, because on the last one I still want them to flex the muscle, but I don't want to have to contact them every single time. It doesn't matter if they're standing on all 4 feet or they're resting. They'll often end up squaring themselves up the more you're working on them. You can tell this horse is very comfortable with this technique, and he's had it since the day I bought him. So what I can't talk and do this. What are our benefits of strapping the horse? Well, we're going to increase the circulation to the muscle. We're going to help contract the muscle. So you can actually get rid of some lactic acid in the horse by doing a lighter strapping, like that very first one I did on the neck, when I just kind of barely, you can hear it's not very loud. I didn't do much at all. You can really help move the lactic acid out of their muscle. When I switch sides, I'm going to switch which hand I'm using. So I stroke with the tail hand. I tap with the hand up by the head. So this is a great exercise for the handler to do during the winter, because it really warms you up. I don't usually strap a horse if I'm going to be riding the horse, and this is something I do if they're just on stall rest, or if they're hand walking, or even just a day off. I do this on the rehab horses. They end up with amazing coats. because you're really increasing that circulation. You can also find if the horses are starting to have any sorenesses, because they will start to respond differently to what their normal is for the strapping. And you can hear I'm a little lighter on the hamstring because I want to think of this more as kind of stretching the hamstring. And I can't count while I'm talking. So I would normally do on a horse that is new to strapping, I would usually just do 5, I don't know what you call them, hits, taps, punches. I would do 5 on each area, 1 time on the whole body. And then the next day, I might do 5 on the whole body and then repeat it again. So 2 sets of 5. And then I'll slowly work up. This horse, if he has a lot of time off, we had a bunch of snow when I first bought him, and we had smoke 2 months before that, and he had cut his knee and was locked in his stall. He had a lot of time off when I first bought him, and so I was strapping him every other day for quite a long time, and he had 30 punches 3 times on his whole body. When he went back into work, he was just as balanced and strong as he was when he was working. Of course, you're not working the cardiovascular system of the horse, you are of the rider, but you are helping keep some tone and activity to those muscles, helping the brain connect to the areas that you're asking to flex, so those muscles keep firing. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. Feel free to message me personally. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. This is just a very short, quick overview of strapping for horses that are on rest or rehabilitation. Bye, everyone.